My name is Bill Hutchinson. I go by Hutch, and I'm going to be fighting Adrien Broner June 9th in Miami. And after I get that victory, I'm going to introduce myself to the boxing world, and it's going to be nothing but big fights after that.
First, talk about the disrespect for Adrian not even showing up to the press conference today.
So, I really don't care. A lot of people have asked me how I'll handle his antics and kind of his personality. And the reality is that it doesn't affect me. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. I'm a pretty even keeled guy. Whatever Adrian's doing is his problem. But I think it is indicative of his lackadaisical attitude towards his career. And, it is what it is. We've seen him have lackadaisical efforts in his fights recently, low punch output. Clearly he doesn't take this press conference and the business of his side of his career very seriously, which is a problem for him. He calls himself the problem, but it seems that he is his own problem within his own career.
How do you think that has, in a negative way, impacted his career?
Effort, right? I mean, you need to show up. You need to do what you said you were going to do. I said that I was going to be here today. I'm here. I said that I'm going to win June 9th, and I'm going to do that too.
How can you take advantage of that lackadaisical effort that you talked about he has shown in his last fights? He showed by not showing up today.
Because I'm going to bring the fight to him. I'm going to make him very uncomfortable, and I'm going to make sure that, he doesn't have the ability to get into his rhythm and do what he wants to do. And I'm going to make him not want to be in that ring, just like he didn't want to be here at this press conference today.
So I think the most interesting thing we learned about you today is you're also an attorney. Talk about being a boxer and an attorney outside of the ring.
So yeah, I am an attorney. I'm licensed to practice in Pennsylvania and Florida. I have the law offices of William Hutchinson. We have offices in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Naples, Florida. And we do a lot of business consulting and compliance affairs for businesses across wide market categories. And it is what it is. You mentioned that it was interesting, but the reality is that I don't need this fight. I want this fight. I only took this fight for one reason, because I know that I'm going to win. So that's why I'm here.
If Adrien Broner were to hire you as a business consultant, what advice would you give to him?
Show up to the press conference, buddy. Step one, do what you're supposed to do to promote the fights and do right by the fans and the media who enable you to have the career that you have. Make no mistake, the fans and the media are the people that put any dollar in his pocket that he's gotten through his career. So take care of those people and show up. That's step one.
You're going to be working with on June 9th with arguably the most legendary promoter in boxing history, Don King. What's that like, fighting on a Don King card?
It's an honor. Don King's one of the greatest promoters to ever live. I mean, everybody knows that. I think that that's not arguable. He's put on mega events time after time, and he's still doing it. He's a little older now, but he's still getting it done. He's still putting on big promotions, big events. Even this press conference, he's doing what he needs to do to stay relevant and put on events for the fans and for the boxing world. And I'm proud to be a part of that, and I'm going to take full advantage of that on June 9th.
Obviously, we're in Las Vegas now for the big fight tonight between Javonte Davis and Ryan Garcia. Who do you think comes out on top tonight?
I have Ryan Garcia by stoppage. I think that stylistically he poses a lot of problems for Tank. I think that his length and quickness and that hook, I mean, everybody knows what's coming, but I'm not positive that Tank can stop it. But Tank's obviously a live dog. He has explosive power, and he's shown that. He's kind of been the boogeyman of his division for a little bit. But I think he's going to need to be a lot busier to nullify Ryan tonight. If Tank isn't busier than he's been in his last few fights, I think that Ryan will get the victory. But make no mistake, it's a very much a 50-50 fight. I think that that's amazing. That's what boxing needs. It's good for the sport. Two guys in their prime going at it, and I respect both of them for taking the fight and giving the fans what they want, which is big fights with two guys in their prime.
In a couple of weeks after this fight, we have Devin and Haney going up against Vasily Lomachenko. Who do you think comes out on top of that one?
I've got Devin in that fight. I think that Devin is just too big for Lomachenko. Devin's a huge 135-pound fighter. Lomachenko's a very small 135-pound fighter. But stylistically, I think that if Devin can stay behind his jab and stay true to his fundamentals, which he's a very fundamentally sound fighter, I think that that poses a lot of problems for Lomachenko. I don't think Lomachenko is going to be able to get around that jab, and I think that Devin just outpoints him.
You're obviously an intelligent man. So if you could make any 3 fights in boxing right now, which 3 fights would you make?
I think that you have Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Obviously, everybody wants to see that fight, to see who the king of the heavyweight division is right now. Obviously, everybody's been clamoring for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Hopefully, I heard that that's in the making. I hope that that's true. That's a fight that everybody wants to see, and I think that third, I think that Bill Hutchinson and Adrien Broner would be a pretty fantastic fight, because I think that it'll be Bill Hutchinson putting the nail in the coffin to Adrien Broner's career June 9th, and then Bill Hutchinson taking on a lot of bigger fights and utilizing that platform to continue to grow and continue to give the boxing fans entertaining fights and the fights that they want to see.
Who would you want to fight if and when you defeat Adrien Broner on June 9th?
When I defeat Adrien Broner on June 9th, I'll take any fight 135 to 140 that makes the most sense from a sizable standpoint. I want big fights. I don't care necessarily who it is. I don't necessarily care when it is, but I want to be on the biggest stages and the biggest platforms so that the people can see my style, they can see me perform, and I like my chances against any of the top dogs. On any given night, I can beat anybody in the 135 or 140 pound division. Like I said, any given night, I can hang with any of those guys.
And we know who you would pick for the third fight you mentioned, but the first 2, Spence versus Crawford, Fury versus Usyk. Who do you see winning those, and why?
I think Tyson Fury best Usyk just because of his size. I think Usyk is very fundamentally sound, fantastic fighter. I think that he is a cruiserweight, right? He's just so skilled that he's getting away with it at heavyweight, which is the same vein of Lomachenko. Same reasoning. I think Lomachenko is absolutely fantastic. I just think that he's a smaller guy. He's just reaching a weight class now where he's fighting guys that are just a little bit too big for him and can nullify some of those skill sets that he does possess. I think Usyk is in the same vein. I think that the size of Tyson Fury causes him a lot of problems, and I think that it nullifies some of his skills that may or may not be superior to Fury's. As it relates to Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, man, that is such a tough fight to pick. I think if I had to give a slight edge to either of them, it would be Terence Crawford, just because he's just so fundamentally sound and he's mean. One thing I really like about Terence Crawford is he goes for the finish. He tries to hurt his opponents, and I think in that moment, I think that little bit of grit maybe just takes him over that finish line, but Errol Spence is no joke, man. That's just and that we should be having these discussions, right? These are the fights that should be getting put on, because we don't know who's going to win, right? That's what makes it fun. You got two guys that you could see winning. It always who can impose their game plan and who can be effective in the moment on the night. Who's the most healthy? Who's dealing with the least amount of injuries through training camp? And that's what makes it so great, is that it's so hard to pick a winner.
Darrell Jazz Johnson, Seconds Out. Bill, thank you for your time and good luck on June 9th.
Yes, sir. Great to meet you.